Morse with my good friend Timmy Thibodeau and our good buddy Billy Smith. Tonight's show, right? Number 32, 33, 31. I don't even know. We have so much fun. I don't know what the hell we are.
Well, it's our fourth live stream.
This is our fourth live stream.
The fifth floor, and we got Billy here.
How you doing, Billy?
Hello.
Back to Cohoes, yeah. Well, so listen, the last podcast I was telling everybody, so finally, thank you, God, that the silly season was over, right? Politics is over. We all moved back to our lives, and even though most of our show is about politics and the good, bad, and ugly side of Cohoes, but there was one thing that everybody was waiting for, and that was the big, what should I say it was called, Billy? The big
raise.
The big raise. Okay, I'll use raise.
Yeah.
Right. Boom.
Yeah.
Big raise. Well, we do know that Mr. Keeler put himself in for a raise, and it wasn't that big of a raise. It was only $21,000 a year, more than most people will get over the course of their whole freaking career.
Yep, 27%.
He came out publicly and said, I work so hard and I got to attend events on Saturdays and Sundays and I work 60 hours. And the first thing I said is, bullshit. That guy don't work 60 hours because I live down the street from him. And most of the time I can see his truck parked at his house, or he's out cutting wood, or he's not at City Hall. Yeah. And so I don't know where the 60 hours comes from. But, I never heard a guy whine so much in my life.
Well, about why he's hourly. He wants to be paid hourly for a salary job that he agreed to take when he ran for office.
I had this conversation with Billy Smith about that. I said, Billy, I think the guy is entitled to a 2.5% raise, the same thing he gave the unions. But how dare this son of a bitch say that he's entitled to, a raise that trumps probably everybody in the capital region, for Christ's sake, with $21,000. But, he's in a good spot. And he's in a good spot because he's got a council of clowns, and it's led by 4 of them. And I just want to, talk about that, right? So you got Billy McCarthy, who is the lead clown, who certainly gave him a nice Christmas gift, or was supporting his big raise. And ironically, you got Alicio. He got a part-time job lined up for him or something? Because why would this guy, who lost his race because he followed this clown around, why would he support such a big raise? Donnie Russell, well, Donnie's probably saying, Mr. Keeler, can you help me fix all my problems and leave me alone? And if you do, I'll vote for your raise, because we know Keeler's, that's how he is. I don't care what anybody thinks. He may have been a state trooper.
Doesn't pay his taxes. No. Look the other way. Give me permits. Give me everything I need.
Yeah.
That's all you need from Donnie.
And then you got Chris Briggs, who to me has always been the ladybug of the council, right? He just he's never been afraid to spend other people's money. He's a dodo bird. He destroyed economic development in our city.
He's been doing it for 10, 15 years now.
He's been there so long that
I don't know any other official there that voted for increasing taxes or rate on the people more than Briggs.
Well, be it the school board, be it the school board, or be it the council, he's never been afraid to tax your eyeballs out. Yeah. And certainly he's benefited, and his family benefited from, big pay raises for teachers. And I'm not saying that some of them ain't entitled to it. I believe they are. But, for this guy, who I think single-handedly ruined economic development, he got to sit on the escalator as it was going up. And as soon as he got any control, the thing went down like it was a fallen ship. Unfortunately, fallen out of the sky airplane or something.
Well, he had at the meeting.
So tell us what happened, Billy, because now we're all waiting to find out what happened at tonight's meeting. That's the big thing. What happened tonight with all the dodo birds and the mayor wanting his raise?
So what happened is that We were scheduled for a 7 o'clock meeting, like normal on a Tuesday, and over the weekend we get a message that everybody agreed to meet at 5 o'clock tonight, which I never agreed to.
Why did they
Um,
have to change it?
well, because they changed it because the second ward councilman couldn't make a 7 o'clock meeting for whatever reason.
Johnny
So
Okay.
Russell.
basically, it was a meeting to try to accommodate everybody except for Bill Smith. But I made it. I was there at 5:02. But and the budget passed 4-2 tonight. Myself and Adam voted no. And when I
Voted
was
no.
asked for my vote, I said, I'm going to hold my vote. I think it's the first time in history that somebody ever said I'm going to wait my to come back around to me. And by then the budget passed. So when it came back to me, everybody knew I was a no vote, but I publicly stated that even though that you know this new budget which nobody knows about, and I asked Mike DeRocher during the workshop that the budget's not out there. He says, "Well, I don't have to put it out there till you guys vote on it tonight." What I don't know if that's true or not. I really don't. At
But
this
it's
point,
not the
it really
same
doesn't matter.
budget that
But
you talked about two
I
weeks ago,
said,
though, right?
I basically said, listen, at the end of the day, to our city clerk and to our fire department, I said, I apologize. I said, the fire department, I've supported you over the years. I said to our city clerk, I support your raise. However, I cannot support this mayor and his relative getting a pay raise, making her one of the highest paid secretaries in the
In the
area.
country.
And the fact that the matter is that thank God there were Boy Scouts there, because I would have said other words, but it was like, what, we're, Sean, as you know, we're public servants. We're not here to make money. I said, listen to Mr. Briggs. I said, we served on the school board for free. The thankless job in the country, a school board member not getting paid. I said, we get into this position where we are to help people. We're not here to make money. My God, I mean, not. And again, the mayor, at one of these meetings says, "Well, the council makes 13.4. It's like $1,000 an hour." Well, it's not.
Well, the guy's a clown.
Any, but anyways, I was
thousand
like,
dollars an hour.
we're here to serve the people. Okay, we're elected officials. We're here to serve. We're not here to make money. I said so. And I said, thankfully you guys went down to 13.4 instead of 27,000 or whatever the hell it was. But it's like, and I don't begrudge him because he earns his pension. He worked hard for it, and he gets that. But at the end of the day, we're here to serve. So when you explain to yourself, well, I have to attend these public speakings. Well, that's your obligation. Your obligation is not to get a photo op at the Cohoes Music Hall, which Sean Moore's built up on their Holly Brown, to get, which you may have got comped. I don't know, to see, watch a Led Zeppelin tribute. I don't know about that. But at the end of the day, we're public servants. We're here to serve, and you agreed upon a job at an agreed upon salary, and that's what you do.
Well, you
I
know,
mean,
Billy, you know what this is,
unless
Billy?
the times have changed where Cohoes and the residents of Cohoes are making $40,000-$50,000 on the average, which we all know that they're not. You don't deserve 27. You don't deserve 13.
This
And
guy doesn't. Somebody's got to tell me what the hell he's done to deserve anything, right? He's never at work. The city's falling apart. The city looks like shit. There's garbage everywhere. There's every time I go down to the city to have a beer, I have to listen for 45 minutes of people telling me how shitty this city's becoming, how unsafe it's coming. I got people who've invested, millions of dollars calling me, texting me, saying, "What the hell's going on?" I said, "Dude, how am I supposed to know? I'm
yeah.
not there no more. I don't
Well,
know.
he
I
doesn't.
got."
He doesn't. If the trestle and above, he may care about, but the trestle, at Columbia Street where stores is below, he doesn't. He
Well, look
doesn't
at it.
care.
It's really
He
tough for
doesn't
him to
care.
get
He
by
doesn't care
on 188 a year.
about us paycheck to paycheck people.
Yeah.
But
Hundred
Well,
eighty-eight thousand bucks a
they
year now.
supported the budget tonight, and he's getting a $13,400 pay raise, 91 something and
well, you
change.
got Donnie Russell who's praying to God that they probably had a little secret meeting, and he said, "Don't worry, Donnie, I won't. I'll help you out with all your bullshit." You got what did Alicio get out of it? Does he got a part-time job coming or something? Keep
Well,
your eyes
okay.
open for that.
Well, think about this, Sean. Okay, now Alicio, a Teamster union guy, and what's he do is he doesn't support the Cohoes firefighters
I
union.
like it, Justin. He ain't no union
Yeah,
guy.
you know.
He may
No,
belong. He may work
he
for a union
belongs to
shop,
one,
but he ain't no union
but
guy.
on unions. This is
I
what
mean,
he did.
I
He
mean,
doesn't care.
no union guy would vote for a mayor to get a $13,000 raise while the union workers are getting 2 and 3 or 4%. Okay, that's just bullshit. The
That's
bottom
what
line is
screwed him off the island.
the bottom line is the mayor of the city has no opposition. Nobody ran against him. I got six. Well, there was 600 and some write-in votes for people that didn't even run. I don't know what Kenner got versus me, but I'm still going to think I got more than Kenner. And
638 total
that
for
just
him.
But
that
at the end
just
of the day, Sean, 600 and some odd votes is a statement maker that people are not happy what's going on. And
well, that's what I'm telling you. When a
in my
guy like
conversation with Mr. Ethier today, it's like people went across the line. Boom, 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 boom.
of
At the
course
end
they
of the
do.
day, and that's why
That's
he even said to me today. He said that I believe that's why Brandon LeQuee lost because they
they
went boom,
did.
boom, 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 and
That's
Brandon
what
LeQuee worked his ass off.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
listen. They always vote across the line. You really got to work your ass off to get people to jump off the line. The first time I ever ran, guess what I did? I ran as an independent and I beat the Democratic Party. So it can be done, but you have to work. I went to every house in my district 3 times. I worked for a year. I walked and walked and walked. I had Otto Matson used to say to me, "Let's see the bottom of your shoes," because I had no shoes left. But I did. I walked and I walked. Right. John Large says he got a good deal on the ambulance contract. Yeah, he sure did. About 14 million. And yeah, I agree with you, Donnie. Yeah, scabs are out there, man, and you can't say that you're a union guy and then hand out these big raises to people who are not in the union that screw the unions, right?
yeah.
Um,
That's what Alicio did. This is why it's hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, I'll see you later. He lost, but what does he do? He follows off. He follows him off the cliff. Then he kisses him on the ass and gives him a big raise out the door. And it's not just him. It's him and his daughter got a big raise, and she got a big raise when Chris Briggs pretended that he was the one giving her the raise the first time.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, if people think that this stuff happens by like coincidence and accidents, it doesn't. Soon as Keeler beat me, he started running the city.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Immediately.
works.
Yeah.
So immediately, go take
Yeah.
care of my daughter, give her this job, raise taxes because I may need some extra money. And ever since he's been there, right? Everything he's done is for himself and his kid. He ain't done shit. What has he done for the city?
Well, he
I'm
took
hearing
that
we
out of the day fund.
I'm hearing we have to now get garbage cans. We're gonna have to pay almost $100 to get a garbage can. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, we got a floating solar panel that
Yeah, that's
who
good.
knows
So
what's
we'll
going to happen when it leaks into the reservoir and we got to drink that damn water.
we'll
But
probably all get botulism. It's the first time they've ever did this.
And
Listen,
those bids were put out today too, weren't they, Billy?
for the
they
what? The
were.
water?
It was in a
For the
it was
solar.
in a workshop. It was discussed in a workshop today. So
Right. Okay. Well, you can let us know
we voted on.
about that after this.
Yeah,
Well,
we
hey, look
voted
at the
on
bottom
next
line
month.
is Cohoes is now being the first city, right, to do this with the floating panels on their
Yeah.
drinking water.
Right. The poison
Yeah.
is
So
on.
when all the birds shit
Country.
all, yeah, I mean, listen,
Well, tank.
I'm not the green guy. If you're
Now look
looking
at
for Johnny Appleseed, I'm not him, right? Because I
hey,
see,
we're three guinea pigs right here.
well, I see through this whole green bullshit, right? I don't want to take 6 days to drive from Cohoes to Florida because I got to plug in my car if I can even find a plug, right?
Right.
All this green and bullshit. That's just the left wing of the Democratic Party. They put together a platform, and all these morons have just jumped into it. This green thing, listen, maybe green is important. And I'm not saying saving the world's not important because I want to save the world, right? I got granddaughters and I want to see the world be saved. But at the same time, I'm not so naive to think that you can change the whole world overnight. Like, get rid of fossil fuels and plug your car in. Come on. And you go to California, they plug in so many freaking cars that it shuts down the whole country.
Yeah.
The whole California, the whole state of California is
What was the lowest bid on
the
that,
whole
Billy? Do you
country's
know?
going to be out of. One day they're going to plug. Everybody's going to plug at the same time. We're going to be living by candlelight.
Hmm?
It's
Bill, do
just
you know what the lowest bid was?
what's up.
So,
Hey
Do you
Ricky, I
know what
see
the
your thing. I
lowest
can't
bid
even
was?
stand being a co-host. I hear you, brother.
I don't know. Can you hear me, Bill?
I
Yeah,
can.
you sound like a muffled old man, like you do every other week, man. I just sent you secret.
Ah,
I just sent you the secret message that we have on here. Did you read it?
no, I don't get any messages.
It
Do
says
I?
it says put the mic closer to your mouth.
I'm gonna have to get another mic. That's it.
I mean, you got such a big mouth that I can hear you from my house. You put the mic up and you're just
Yeah, but
muffled.
look at everybody's commenting and saying I won the background contest tonight.
You
Well,
did. I look at God bless the.
congrats.
First of all, happy Veterans Day. I know the show's a little past the Veterans Day, but
Yeah.
boy, what a great country we have when these people who volunteer their lives. And you know what? These are kids for most part, man. I really love this country for that reason that we have a military of volunteers that are just so dedicated that they're willing to put their lives at risk for us, even though right now we seem a little bit upside down, don't we, as a
Hmm.
country? And so if the country's upside down, what the hell's Cohoes? I mean, we're I don't know if we're sideways, upside down, spinning in circles, but we're heading in a bad direction. And
We
if
are.
anybody doesn't see that, Billy Smith, you may be a big mouth who fights the battles. I love you because that's how I was. You may have all the political people against you because you don't kiss their ass. That's how I was. You've seen how they come out of the woodworks to try to kill me, right? But at the end of the day, I always said, believe the guy with the big mouth. Believe the guy who's got nothing to gain by having a big mouth. And don't believe the clean cut on the trooper guy because he's the biggest liar there is. And the big mouth is telling you the truth. And unfortunately, they go after you, Billy. And we lose one of the people in our council that has the balls to talk about the reality of what's really happening. And
Well,
now you have,
well,
Yeah,
at the
and
end of the day,
these four, the
people
four
ask
points.
me. I get the messages. Sorry about your loss and yada yada
sorry
yada.
about your
I gotta
loss, my
tell you,
ass.
last week Tuesday night, I had the best sleep of my life. Um,
Would you drink
and
whiskey?
it's such a shame, like you,
Huh?
Sean. When you're on the top of the game, people love you. When you're at the bottom, you don't hear from the ones that you supported to save jobs and everything
You're
like
talking to
that.
the
I'm
choir,
not going to
son.
mention any names. We know who we're talking about, but
You're talking to the choir.
it's a shame. Friendship should be friendship, politics or not. But it's a shame that some of the people that I've supported over the years
It's impossible
Yeah.
to
lost my
have
phone number.
friendship when you're surrounded by clowns.
Hey, Sean,
That's
can you
what
hear
these
me
guys
better
are.
now?
I can, Timmy. I hear you so good you're popping my eardrums out. What you do?
I had to turn on my mic.
You had to turn it on? Yeah, that would be the
Hey,
that
he
would be
did a
the
podcast before with 45 minutes, and he had his mic muted.
we did a whole podcast and I said, Tim, why didn't you tell me you couldn't hear me? He goes, I thought maybe it was just I couldn't, but everybody else could. I said, well, I had my microphone off.
Well, I'm looking at this thing and I say, wait a minute, something's wrong here. And then I realized, wait a minute, I got the wrong mic selected. That's why it's muffled.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, we can hear you good now. But Billy, listen. First and foremost, I love your shirt. Right, that's the truest Cohoes proud
There it
shirt.
is,
That was
brother.
the start of the revolution of rebuilding our city. Right, and I don't know if you guys see the picture, but I got the clowns up. You got Billy McCarthy, King Clown. You got Donnie Russell. You got Pinocchio, because I know for a fact that Alicio said he wasn't going to vote for no huge double-digit raise, but he's lied more times than Pinocchio.
yeah.
And Ladybug Briggs, he's just he is what he is. And
Yeah.
yeah, Billy, they all come after you, and they all went after you to beat you. And so what? Who cares? But hey, listen,
Hey,
before hang on, Timmy, before we go any
yeah.
farther, let me just ask everybody. Look, if you like the show, and um, and help this channel continue to grow. So go ahead, Timmy. I'm sorry to cut you off like that.
Well, what I was saying is that you got our friend down there in the island, Claudia Calendar. She
Oh,
made
she's a
another
nitwit.
post today. She put up another post today. Here, look at. She goes on there. She posting here about all these other things going on. In the meantime, now she's trying to kiss the new elect councilman's ass down there. Okay, so
Well, then she just put a post up saying that he couldn't have the job because you can't have two jobs, and
yeah,
she's a
yeah,
moron. She
yeah,
obviously she thinks she's a lawyer, but
yeah,
isn't she just like a cat herder? Doesn't she have like ten
yeah.
thousand cats or
She
something?
doesn't
She's
realize that there's and I told Tom Fife today. Okay, I said, look at Tom. I can categorically prove that there's another city employee, not Todd, but another one that's got two city jobs.
But there's not. But
There-
let me just clarify
yeah.
something because I don't want to make that comment because an elected official is not a city job.
Hmm.
If you read the charter, it says you cannot hold two offices. Offices are elected positions. I can't be the mayor and the
Right.
councilman at the same time.
Right.
I can't be
Well,
the mayor and the county legislator at the same time. And
well,
then it. Go ahead, Billy.
Sean, I'm sorry not to interrupt you, but that was when I ran the first time around when I was on the school board. I could not hold a school board position, which was
Two
an
offices.
elected
That's right.
Right.
official, and then
That's right.
and to be an elected official for the
But
city.
you could talk to this Claudia till your head falls off. It doesn't matter because she's
Yeah.
a moron and she has no standing. It doesn't matter what she says, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what Keeler says. It doesn't matter what Billy
Yeah.
McCarthy says. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
because there's already been court cases that fought it. I was going to run for city council when I was a fireman, and if it wasn't for my uncle George, God bless him, I love him dearly. He talked me out of it, said it isn't your time yet, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll let you guys have what you need, but I'm going to knock on the door and I'm going to keep banging until somebody lets me in. But
Yeah.
but the IFF, the New York State firefighters, already supplied us with the information from a case up in Glens Falls,
Yeah.
where the firemen in Glens Falls end up winning and holding the seat as a city councilman.
Well, how about Mr. Daniel being on the school board and a fireman at the same time? It's an elected official working for
And
the city.
and
Isn't
and
that
an
the same
employee.
concept?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's why I just ignored the lady because she gives me a freaking headache.
Yeah. She's
Because there's
I
creepy.
don't
nothing I
even know
hate
her.
more. I don't mind debating people, right? But I realized a long time ago that if you're going to debate somebody who's a fool, they're never going to know when they lost the debate. So I just gave up. So she
Yeah.
could post and type all the shit she wants, but
Yeah.
she's meaningless. Tom
Yeah.
Fife doesn't have to step down. Tom Fife should only retire from the fire department if he wants to retire, and nobody should tell him that he has to. Because
Hmm.
you know what? It's up to him. He was elected by the people. The
Hmm.
people elected him to be the representative. They knew he was a fireman, and I know of no place where the fireman had a now there was a case that I was reading in other states. There
Hmm.
right, but the charter said you cannot be a police officer and or a firefighter and hold an elected position.
Hmm.
It clearly says that. Ours says
Yeah.
you can't hold two offices.
And keep in mind, Sean, okay, our ethics code, in section 36.7, okay, that makes very clear when anytime there's any conflicts, when and you even said this yourself, when you're voting on a whole block of things, okay? You're not voting where you're going to personally gain something, okay?
Right. So
Look at
so there was a
exactly.
right there was a court case and there was a perb case. Right. Perb is
Yeah.
is the state organization that determines hours, wages, and working conditions from
Hmm.
employees in government, right,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
unions for most part. And they made an argument that you couldn't be a firefighter and vote on the fireman's contract because you would benefit yourself. And the court said, not so fast. That's not true. I think it was like Section 82 of the Public Officers Law that says that you can't vote on a contract if you're going to have and yourself is going to benefit. So I can't come to the city and say, I'm a firefighter and I'm going to bid on the plowing, right?
Hmm.
And you're going to pay me $10,000 to plow plus be a fire. You can't do that. They don't let you do that, right? But the
Right.
court said, look, you're one member of a bargaining unit. The unit bargains on behalf of the firefighters, not one member, and therefore that section, I thought it was 82 of of the
Yeah. Yeah.
one of the
It's
laws.
essentially the same thing, but he's well protected by the ethics code. I mean, he can vote on contracts and all that other stuff. He just can't do anything where he individually, personally would gain. Okay, and then if he was faced with a situation like that, he simply has the option to abstain.
But
Keeler
there's
abstained.
nothing
Right.
that the city government will talk about during his whole time on the city council that will self
Right.
benefit him.
Right. And look
Other
at
than you're a
right.
firefighter and you get a raise. Well, big deal.
Yeah.
The mayor of the city went to Mike DeRocher and said, "Here's the budget. I want 20,000." Well, he can give himself a raise.
Yeah.
Give me a break. I
And
mean,
then he abstains in the vote to do it.
yeah, these people ain't stupid. Well,
Yeah.
maybe they are. I don't know. They give.
Well,
No, so what?
I like Sean Van Sleet's comment. We need a new council president. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Sean, you're absolutely right. I mean, Social Security gets 3%. They give this clown like I don't even know what it came out to be because
Well,
even
you're
at
going to get a new council president. Hopefully, once you get a
It
this
won't be a
because
new
you're
council president because it'll be.
who's going to change? It's all dodo birds.
Yeah, I mean, you got the returning ones. Adam and McCarthy, and the other four are just going to fall in line.
Yes. Do you
So,
expect them to be anything other than what they are?
yeah.
I
So Sean, no, it's going to remain the same.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'll
Hopefully not.
disagree.
Tedster says ethics exist in Cohoes, yeah, only on paper. Not in real life, it doesn't,
Yeah.
But, the thing that really bothered me, and again, I'm just going to go back to the salary of the mayor and his daughter.
Mhm.
Between both of them, you're now the two highest paid people in those positions in the history of the city. And it's a shame.
Yeah,
And
as mayor and as secretary to the chief of
yeah,
police.
As
You know,
non-union people.
yeah,
right? So she raking in $64,000 as chief of police secretary. Yet the
yep,
mayor secretary has got to get by on 41,000.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
If you don't see what I see, then you're just blind or you're not
Right.
looking to see it,
And
right?
look, Keeler's raise is almost what most people, on average, about 15,000 a year get on Social Security. His
Yeah,
raise, it's
it's
almost the equivalent to what they got as all.
listen.
It's
I'm going to tell you
unbelievable.
this. I thought I did a lot for the city, right? I think we built the music halls, we built the parks, we built Veterans Park, we built Canal Square Park, we put all brand new sidewalks in, we built the
Yeah.
water tower. The list goes on, right? And I talked about if I won another term, giving myself a raise of
Yeah.
3%.
Yeah.
And I had Kanifka, who hated me at the time, and the rest of them like ready to kill me.
Hmm.
And I was like, I hate this job. Tell you the truth, I loved the job and I loved getting stuff done. I hated being the mayor of the city because
Hmm.
I had to deal with a bunch of morons that none of them, none of them would ever have a job outside of this government that put them in charge of this kind of money or gave them this kind of control over the operations of a corporation. Do you think any of these guys could go work for a $30 million corporation and run it? You think they'd be vice presidents of the corporation? They're not. You get
Yeah.
elected because you know 65 people in your district. That's why you get elected. That's why the country's screwed up.
And Billy
You almost said the
McCarthy.
F
Yeah.
word.
I almost
Yeah.
did. The country's screwed up because we just elect people we know. You
Yeah,
know,
and like I said, I would imagine that Briggs and Alicio, who are going out, right? They're going out. You would think they would go out and take the high road,
well, you
you
think they'd
know,
go out without screwing
the
the
taxpayers.
residents of this city
Yeah,
because that's what they did. Alicio gave the final bird. Here you go. See you
yeah,
later. And the
yeah. I
rest
mean,
of them.
his 4 years has been it really is really
He could have went
removed.
out with a bang tonight and voted no, but he didn't.
No,
No,
he
he
went
just
out. He
did
went out with a. You know what?
As we were
a
leaving
whimper.
City Hall, he's walking in with Keeler signs, his lawn signs to give to Keeler. So it's
He did what?
he we were leaving the meeting and he was coming back into City Hall with Keeler lawn signs to give to Keeler.
Well,
As
he was
Oh, so
kissing
yeah.
Killer's ass the whole
Oh, he
time. He's like,
collected them for him. Boy, oh boy.
yeah. I like him, man, but I got to tell you, you know,
he could have went out. He could have went out
He could have went out with some
high
class.
graces tonight, and
He
Well,
went out that's
you know what I
but
call
that's
his
why he's
truck.
out.
yeah,
You know what I call his truck? It's UPS.
UPS, brother. But I mean, that's why he's out. He's out of the game because he kissed ass from day one to the last
Yeah.
day.
Well, he moved into the sixth ward
I'm
from
just
the
telling you,
fifth.
pay attention that
Okay,
there's a part-time job or some kind of job coming up for
right.
somebody, because everybody gets something for being a kiss ass and doing those things.
Yeah. Well,
Because
he
there's
came
no
in.
way in the world that you could be a union guy. Donnie Gibbs, if you hear me, there's no way in the world you could be a union guy and give non-union members 12, 15, 20% raises while you sit back and vote on 2% raises for your union workers,
But
unless
Donnie
you're a
also
scab.
says we can all work down at Russell's Deli.
Yeah, well,
Where
just pay attention that
just
everybody's.
stay out of the basement, right, Bill?
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But
Mm,
hey, listen, that's kind of the show tonight, man. I just Timmy, I want to hear about what Billy had to talk about. I knew Billy went to the meeting tonight. He's going out of the council the way he went in, with class and dignity. He done the right thing.
I'm not disappearing,
And you know what, Billy? Let me give you some advice. I'm going to
please.
give you some advice. Go disappear. Go disappear, because it's a shit show. And the more
Hey,
you stay in it, the more you realize it's a shit show. And the more you stay in it and the more you fight hard for people, they destroy your life. That's what they do.
Yeah.
You either kiss their ass or you got to be able to fight them all. And you know what happens? I don't give a shit how tough you are. I don't care how strong you are. Eventually, they surround you and there's no way to win, and they destroy you. Move on. Go love your wife. Go love your kids. Spend the rest of your life knowing you did something
have,
for
yeah, have
13
fun.
years. Yeah, and have fun with it.
Go
Don't.
around, go around, collect killer signs
Yeah.
like Alicio does.
You know
I
what?
mean,
Take 4 years off and say, maybe I want to run again, and maybe you want to run again. Maybe this kid's going to find out that he's not everything that he thought he was, or he's just going to be a dodo bird, right? Because that's why they put him up.
yeah, you could bounce back. But hey, I'm still
Liberty
want to get
Party.
back to it.
Liberty
I
Party.
want to know what the lowest bid on that solar project was.
Well, we'll have to foil it. That guy Joe, what's his name? Joe? Is he
Oh,
the?
Joe
Who's the
well,
Graham.
guy? Who's the guy who's the planner?
Joe
Seaman
Graves.
Graves.
Yeah, John, tell him if you see him tomorrow. Tell him.
I got the bids.
No, I'm just
They're
saying,
all zip filed though.
if you see that guy tomorrow,
Mhm.
tell him that Sean Morris is still holding his hands on his ass, waiting for an email I sent him about 4 months ago to give me the exact figures about his savings on his light
Yeah,
bulbs.
yeah.
You know why they
Hey,
didn't get back to me? Because they're
not.
liars, Pinocchio. They're full
Yeah.
of shit. You know. Here's
Well,
another
anyway,
thing. Here's
We'll,
another
we'll
thing.
be dead before we see the savings.
Yeah, well, there
yeah,
ain't no savings. The only saving
it
grace
ain't
is
gonna
that,
happen.
you know, the only saving grace is that these positions only last every 4 years. But in this city, the sheep follow you right over the cliff. People, half the people that voted for Keeler don't even know he's the mayor. They just went. The people that knew he was mayor voted on paper to get rid of him.
Yeah. Well, look, at I'm glad to see that with this council where you got the gang of four is what I've been calling them. Okay, you're going to see two of them, actually three of them, heading out the door. And for all you new guys coming in, you got to remember what this gang just did. Okay, and they didn't. They had to pass a budget, but they turned around and they passed a budget that wasn't the original budget that was presented to the people. What was it? Only a week or two, Billy. So they
Thursday.
come in with a different budget, not the one that I got. That I could say, hey, to my council member, hey, I like this or I don't. What I got to see posted online, okay, was different than what you guys voted on tonight.
Well,
Well,
that's
Is that
supposed to be
true?
like that, Timmy.
And I asked Mike Droscher. You know, I actually left the workshop and I called him to the
Yeah.
side. I said, Mike, I said I'm online right now, and this is not the budget that Thursday night that this committee agreed upon. He says, I can't put it out there until you guys post it. I
The
said,
way
"So
it's supposed,
how do the residents know?
because this is how it's supposed to work. First of all, you're supposed to any budget you should have had a public meeting, right?
Right.
Because local law, I think the budgets are either a local law or an ordinance in the city, right?
Uh, their ordinance, I believe it is. No,
Well,
no,
it's
there, there was
no, no,
always
no. It's a local law.
and there was always public hearings that have to be held,
Yes.
And we had
so that
three
you
of
could
them.
talk about the budget, go over the budget, let the people hear what the budget is presented to them by the board of managers, and then
Mm,
the legislative body should have had their own public meetings and talked about the things that they were concerned with. And tonight, what should have been on the agenda for the public to see and on the website is the list of the changes that are being proposed.
And
You're
they
not.
weren't.
Well, I mean, tonight, like I said, I asked Mike about that, and he says, "Well, I can't put anything out there until it's voted on tonight." So I asked
But that's not
during
true.
the meeting,
That
I
didn't
asked
happen.
Chris Briggs. I said, "Listen, there's changes in the budget. Unfortunately, according to my conversation with Mr. DeRocher, um, he can't put it out there for whatever reason. So why don't you explain to the residents that are here tonight, which was 7 outside the Boy Scouts. Thank God they were there because I would have swore. Um, but Chris went over it, and at the end of the day, it
But
passed.
but
I
that
mean,
goes that shows you, Billy, that they are so incompetent. They don't even know how to run meetings. Billy McCarthy is in charge. What
Right.
does
And
Billy
this is
McCarthy know
right.
about running a meeting?
Right. This is my whole point that I made the bill earlier. The budget that they approved tonight was not the same budget that they put on out to the
Well, it
people.
can't be. It can't be, Timmy.
Right. Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna.
you should have a time period in which I
You
get to
do.
see what they're going to vote on. So
You.
because
But
they're my representatives.
but what should have been vote? So you got to understand. There's a budget presented by the board,
Yes.
right? Then it goes to the city council.
Yes.
Then the city council
the committee.
has their public meetings. They have their committee meetings,
Yeah.
right? And then any changes that are being proposed should be put on a piece of paper, sent to the mayor, sent to the clerk, sent to the lawyer, sent to Mike DeRocher, and it should be put on the agenda tonight. So all you would see is a piece of paper that said line item 125, uh, decrease from
Yeah.
99,500
Yeah.
to 91,000, right? So that you could see what the council voted on. Mike DeRocher is absolutely right in the sense that he can't post a budget different because the budget hasn't passed yet. But
Right.
what should have been posted, and it should have been done by Billy McCarthy,
Yeah.
Doe Bird,
Whatever
is
changes were
the
being
is the
done.
changes that are going to be proposed tonight. Now maybe they did. Maybe I shouldn't call them a Dodo Bird so fast.
They
All
didn't.
right.
They didn't.
So
I mean, we got a letter. We got a piece of paper at these committee meetings, but the changes were not posted on the website of what the throughout the 3 or 4 committee meetings that Chris had. They were
right.
not. They were not.
So at the end of the day, you have all these committee meetings, right?
Yeah.
They're meaningless, right?
Yeah.
They
And
make
yeah.
they make recommendations to the council. Tonight, there had to be a resolution to vote on the changes first,
Mm-hmm.
and then vote to accept the budget as amended.
There was
Mm-hmm.
not.
That's
Yeah.
because they don't know what they're doing. So the first thing that I'd be doing is I'd be calling up Kremer saying that vote wasn't done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Call the conference of mayors. Call the state. Call whoever you can listen. Now most of them don't give a shit because they're like, well, that's your city,
Yeah.
not mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But the reality is they don't even know how to vote because you have to vote on the amendment to change the budget to make the changes, and then once you vote on that, now you vote on the new budget. Mike DeRocher could have probably already had it drafted up and changed, and it would have been posted tonight and said, "There's the new amended budget."
Mm-hmm. Well,
So they
anyway,
don't
I made
That's an
my point.
ordinance. That's all.
and they don't even know how to run a meeting, and that's sad.
Yeah.
That's sad that they're getting $13,000 a year, and Billy McCarthy's probably getting 3 or 4 thousand more, and the moron doesn't even know how to run a meeting.
And he's a heartbeat away from being mayor.
Yeah, what does that tell you?
Jesus.
And you know why there were 7 people there? Because
Nobody
because
gives a shit.
because seniors can't get up the stairs.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I'm going to tell you something. I got emails from people and messages. Why to me? Because of the podcast. You know what they said? We'd love to go to the meetings. We can't get up the stairs. So maybe they should take the meetings and move them over to the senior center and have the meetings there until they can get the network upstairs so people can watch it from their house, watch it online, watch it on their phone, and partake in it. Now, when I was mayor, we didn't have all the fancy technology yet to do all that, right? But what we did is we got that go to meetings.
Yep.
We put it on upstairs. I put a big TV in a conference room downstairs so that people could come up in their wheelchairs or their walkers, get into City Hall, go sit in that room on that level, right? And watch the meeting from the comfort of a place they could fit into. and even talk by pushing the button. Now, it wasn't the greatest system in the world, but that's all we had
It
back then.
worked.
But it
Yeah.
worked. And guess what they did with it? They took it out and said, "Oh, that don't work."
Yeah, and
So,
look at
so here,
the
here's
chambers is an echo chamber. Okay, so
it's a beautiful place, but
it is, but
it's
it's not functional
it's
for
not practical. The whole city
it's
hall's
just
not
it's
practical.
you
They just
know
spent millions of dollars to put in a roof. They're going to put in windows. They can put all the shit they want in there. The wind blows through the walls.
yes.
It's full of asbestos. It's full of lead paint. The heat is either on 1,000 degrees or it's 40 below zero because you can't control the heat,
Hmm.
right? It
so
leaks.
another big shocker. Not that it's a shocker, is that we purchased the Cohoes Savings Bank across the street from
Oh,
Canal
wow.
Square,
Great move.
and a shitty move, but anyways, so we're getting into the winter months, and we have homeless people in Cohoes. And like Saratoga just did, they have this Code Blue. I think when the community center was open, we had it here in Cohoes. So I asked the mayor tonight, listen, it's going to get chilly soon. We have homeless people in Cohoes. I don't know how many homeless or whether
Doesn't
they're
matter.
homeless or just people looking to get warm. I said, now that we just purchased this building, why can't we make this a Code Blue center? Well, if there's homeless, they go to the police station. And the cops will bring them to Albany County.
Well, that's all
I
good
was
and well.
like, well, how the hell they get back to Cohoes?
What if there's no shelters in Albany County? Why
Yeah,
don't they go up to his house? He's got a whole big freaking
Jesus. I'm
four
like,
big garage.
I mean,
He's a
Saratoga
moron.
does it. Everybody does it, but I said no.
Except he
Saratoga's
just
not a county thing. Saratoga just bought a brand new building,
He doesn't
and the mayor
care.
in Saratoga has done the right thing. Well, the former mayor, the new mayor elect will do the same thing.
He doesn't
But
care.
it's like he just doesn't care.
He
about
doesn't
people.
care. Let me just tell you something, Bill. You don't have to go into the savings bank that you just bought because you own the senior center.
Yeah,
And
Hmm.
that's what
that's
we
true.
did. We went to the community center at first, and then we went to the senior center
Hmm.
because ours wasn't a code blue because we didn't have a shelter yet. What we
Hmm.
had was warming stations. And
Okay.
if one person or 50 people went, we would open it up
Yep.
and we would sit there all night, excuse me, and we'd make sure they had pizza and warm blankets and whatever to stay warm and drinks and food. And we would then work with Albany County to see if we could get them into the shelters. Now, I will tell you, there were times when shelters were full, brother. You ain't getting in the shelter.
Hmm.
So I was in the process of going to the council to spend 100 grand to buy cots and all the stuff that you would need to have a shelter until we could find a permanent home. Now, listen, nobody wants to have homeless shelters in their city. That's a sign of a city that's not doing the right thing to keep people from being homeless.
But we have it.
But you have to have it. We did have it. We put it together. Why they're not using it? Because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
At the end
He
of the
doesn't
day,
care.
and it's a shame.
Hey,
Again,
listen,
it's
Hey,
from
let's
the
give it a rest,
Western
guys.
World.
let's give it a rest. It's time to go. It's
Okay.
time
Oh,
to go.
so anyways, before we go, I just,
Don't start crying.
I'm not going to cry,
All right.
but I love these podcasts and I'll always come on them. But I just want to thank, 13 years in the business, 5 years on the school board, 8 years in this council. I had a great run, and
And you and Gil are
it
friends
happened.
again.
And Gil's my best friend all of a sudden. But hey, we move on. We move on to greater pastures. And Shawn, I know you said disappear, but I don't know if I can.
Well, listen, whether you can or you can't, you know, that's up to you.
I love this, like you. I love this city,
Oh,
and
I
I
love
love.
the city too, but I don't want to spend 5 more minutes of my life dealing with morons like Billy McCarthy
Yeah,
and Chris Briggs and the
yeah.
rest of them. And I
I
just
can't
want to
wait to
just
see them exit.
Yeah, I just want to say a few things, but I want to tell Sean Van Sleet. Sean, I don't believe that there's going to be a big headache because I don't see Higgins in any way being a headache to anybody. Um, and Fife, yeah, Fife will be a very strong stand-up guy when it comes to principles. But I don't see Higgins rocking any boat, especially when he works for the jail. You always got to remember they all have bosses, and you know thanks for joining the podcast tonight. There's a lot of people. We had a nice podcast. It's time for me to get the hell out of here. Billy, I would say this as your friend. Congratulations on a job well done. You served with great pride. Go out with your head held high. Don't go out looking down at your feet, man. Always keep your head held high because these guys are ruining the city. And you will see it 4 years from now when you shake your head because they let this moron mayor do things that are just destructive. And if you've seen how many, well, just remember, almost 700 people voted for uh, for write-in candidates. That's historic. You've never seen nothing
638.
like that in your life. I shit my pants and said, "Oh my God, good thing they didn't get 1,000," because the reality was that's unheard of.
Well, you know
Thanks,
what the
John Large.
council really did in reality tonight is they paid Billy Keeler's taxes for the next 4 years for him. Okay,
Well, he went and got
and
his.
that
I'm sure he got his taxes reduced.
yeah, so he got his taxes paid there by the Gang of Four tonight for the
Well,
next
Thanks,
four
Sean.
years. So
Vince
that's
Lee.
it for me, guys.
hey, listen, just remember, you're looking at the four clowns that sold the city out uh, and gave out raises far exceeding what most city people can afford to pay. So, Billy, I appreciate you standing up for the people. Adam Biggs, I think you learned a valuable lesson about these clowns,
And
and congratulations for doing the right thing. And Billy, hold your head up high. See you on the next podcast, everybody. Sean Morris, Billy Smith,
and
and
Tim signing off
Timmy, aka Midget Trudeau.
from
Good
from
night.
my good
Thanks,
buddy
guys.
Till.
Hey, no, I said, see how I said it? I said, AKA Trudeau, because that the way they wouldn't know that it's you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Timmy, let me just tell you something. What you don't make up in size, you make up in stature. You got more kahunas than any of these bastards, and it's a pleasure to be on the show with a guy that's not afraid to say when he's right, say when he's wrong, and fight for the things that he believes in. So it wouldn't be as fun if it wasn't for you. So I think you're taller than any guy that I know. So God bless you, and
Okie doke.
I'll see you later.